I'm Alma Langlois, and today I'm talking about my favorite film of one of my favorite regional filmmakers, East Texas's low-budget auteur, S.F. Brownrigg. Originally titled Seasons for Murder, it was re-released in 1974 as Don't Hang Up, then re-released in 1979 as Don't Open the Door. My heart bursts with love for regional horror movies. They combine two things I adore: low-budget genre filmmaking and regional American culture. Ruthless corporatists are trying their best to make every city the same, with endless chain restaurants and ugly brutalist architecture, but I'll always be a champion of local color. I love how every state is unique in its own way, and each one has their own distinctive heritage and personality. And there's nothing I love more than regional dialects.
Some people think this is funny, but I have 3 broken toes to show for it.
Susan Bracken stars as Amanda Post, a feisty Dallas photographer who's summoned back to her small hometown when she receives a mysterious phone call that her grandmother is ill. She returns to her family home, the House of the Seasons, begrudgingly, as she's still haunted by the trauma of her mother's murder 13 years ago. Upon arrival, Amanda finds her grandmother completely incapacitated, and a trio of vultures circling in the forms of sleazy Dr. Crowther, the steely-eyed Judge Simple, and Claude Kern, the bespectacled weirdo who runs the neighboring doll museum.
Lord Helmet, what? You're needed on the bridge, sir. Knock on my door! Knock next time! Yes, sir. Did you see anything? No, sir. I didn't see you playing with your dolls again. Good!
They've all got nefarious designs on obtaining Grandma's historical home. Then that night, Amanda begins receiving ominous, obscene phone calls. Someone's watching her. The same person who murdered her mother 13 years ago. Martin Gero was the uncredited executive producer, a native New Yorker known for producing several successful films for Blake Edwards, like Breakfast at Tiffany's and The Pink Panther. I don't know if it had to do with his wife Erin being a native Texan, but tired of the studio Hollywood game, Gero relocated to the Dallas area with the goal of producing local independent films. He thought the area offered a plethora of talent and fabulous locations and hoped to cultivate local film production. In newspaper interviews, Gero proclaimed that he was creatively inspired by the local cultures and folklore of Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas. I'm not sure where this falls in the chronology, but Gero also worked as an assistant district attorney in Dallas, and later produced Terms of Endearment. Gero was close friends with comedian Eddie Bracken, famed for his roles in Preston Sturges films like The Miracle of Morgan's Creek and Hail the Conquering Hero. For the role of Amanda, Gero recommended Eddie's daughter Susan, whom he had known since she was a child. Susan's acting career began when she was admitted to NYU's School of the Arts, and at age 18, she toured in a national production of the Broadway show I Can't Hear You When the Water's Running with her father. She toured in summer stock circuits and was awarded the Straw Hat Award for Most Promising Newcomer, after which she continued to appear on stage and on television. The rest of the cast are all local Texas actors, most of them members of S.F. Brownrigg's repertory company he would use in all of his 70s films like Annabelle Wienick, her mother-in-law Rhea McAdams, Hugh Fagan, and regional horror's answer to M. Emmett Walsh, Sheen Ross. And that's Texas character actor Jim Harrell as Dr. Crowther, who you probably remember as Tommy Lee Jones' father in Rolling Thunder, and the Cut-Right Chainsaw store manager in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Brownrigg's debut film was one of the longest-running drive-in hits of all time, Don't Look in the Basement.
Don't Look in the Basement. From Hallmark Releasing Corporation. Rated R.
70s distributors really loved their don't titles, didn't they? Don't Look in the Basement was most frequently shown on the Hallmark Releasing double bill with Last House on the Left.
To avoid fainting, keep repeating to yourself, it's only a movie. Only a movie. Only a movie.
Sherald Fergus Brownrigg, Brownie to his friends, was born in El Dorado, Arkansas in 1937 to Evie and Juanita Brownrigg. Brownrigg, like his fellow low-budget auteur Russ Meyer, cut his filmmaking teeth in the United States Army. He was stationed in the swamps of Louisiana as a combat photographer, but spent most of his time doing Department of Defense training films. It was during his military service that Brownrigg met and began working with another low-budget Texas filmmaker, Larry Buchanan, as an audio engineer. It was also during this time that he met Annabelle Wienick. He followed up the hit Don't Look in the Basement with one of the best backwoods movies ever, the sweaty, claustrophobic, and gleefully depraved Scum of the Earth, also known as Poor White Trash 2.
The real poor white trash. They live and die below Tobacco Road.
While many filmmakers use low-budget genre films as a springboard to a Hollywood career, Brownrigg chose to stay deep in the heart of Texas. In an interview for Fangoria magazine with David Shulkin, Brownrigg said, "I went out to Hollywood quite a few times, worked a little bit, and had some job offers. But I was just uncomfortable with that system. Very uncomfortable." One of the reasons I love regional horror films so much is that they can have an authenticity that's hard to capture in a studio film. Brownrigg excels at the mood and atmosphere of Southern Gothic. Don't Open the Door boasts a well-written script by Frank Schaefer and Carrie Newcomb with complex, nuanced characters. I think Don't Open the Door is Brownrigg's most stylish film. It gets a lot of mileage out of some spectacular locations, all local historical landmarks. The film was shot in Jefferson, Texas, just 1 hour east of Dallas and about 1 hour west of Shreveport. The House of the Seasons is a famous historic house and a bed and breakfast, so you can stay there if you're in the area, along with that train car that appears in the opening of the film. Kern's Doll Museum was Frank's Dolls Museum, which was housed in the Huck Vault House just south of Jefferson in Marshall, Texas. I'm linking all these places down below if you'd like to check them out and pay a visit. The locations even contribute to one of the themes of the film, perception versus reality, and that things are not what they seem. This is particularly illustrated by the opening scene, in which Judge Simple and Annie appear to be in a train car, and we hear the sounds of a moving train on the soundtrack. But the train car is revealed to be stationary, and the train sounds are an audio recording. The multicolored stained glass windows on the top floor of the House of the Seasons alter how things are seen, and there's a recurring motif of mannequins being mistaken for real people. Dolls are also a prominent symbol in the film. In Western culture, dolls often symbolize the feminine, either female beauty or the social expectations of femininity that women are expected to conform to. In dream symbolism, dolls often indicate a past trauma that needs to be addressed, or an undeveloped aspect of yourself. Or it can even symbolize a feeling of lacking autonomy and a fear of being controlled by others. All of these are conflicts Amanda struggles with in the film.
Well, well. You've grown up, Miss Post.
I can see that in your eyes, Judge.
Amanda is very strong-willed and assertive, blasting anyone who attempts to push her around with nuclear fury.
I have told you that I want this house. I will be willing to buy your interest in it. Your potential interest, Miss Post. I believe this to be more than a fair price.
I'll bet you do get everything you want. Well, I'll tell you what. You don't get it. Kern doesn't get it. Nobody gets it. Not while I'm around. I'll burn it first. You're a dirty old man. You just give me the keys, get out, and stay out.
You're in my way, Miss Post.
She's had to become extremely self-reliant as a result of her mother's death.
The main thing I remember is a scared little girl with a dead mother. I don't need or want to remember anything else.
In Jungian psychology, the house represents the entire psyche or personality, and in dreams, it's interpreted as symbolic of the body, the self. Amanda's fight with the men over her family home reflects her fear of and resistance to male domination and her desire for independence.
You staying here?
Why not?
Oh, just a pretty little old thing like you, all alone in this big, rambly old house. never can tell. But then you're a big girl now. You take care now. Yeah?
But because of past trauma, Amanda also struggles with the ability to trust. She lashes out at her boyfriend Nick, keeping him at arm's length, even though, aside from a few doofus moments where he doesn't listen to her when he should, never be the boyfriend that doesn't listen in a horror movie, I'm telling ya. Anyway, for the most part, he is trying to help her, and he seems supportive of her. Amanda is more anti-dependent than independent, and her inability to trust ultimately leads to her downfall, because she can't distinguish allies from enemies. There's a theme in Brownrigg's work of being overcome by madness, and that murder may not be the most horrifying outcome. Being robbed of your life is bad enough, but being robbed of your mind might be the worst fate of all. Great performance by Susan Bracken as Amanda, by the way. The cast is terrific in general, but I'm also going to single out Brownrigg regular Gene Ross's performance as Judge Simple. Gene Ross is from Durham, North Carolina originally. That's where you go if you want to get your parapsychology degree. He was a former lawyer, which may have contributed to him playing characters named Judge in Brownrigg's films, and he frequently rewrote his lines. And normally, I hate when actors try to do that, because usually what an actor comes with is something they think is brilliant, but it's more like something you'd get from an incredibly stupid child whose hobby is hitting themselves in the head with a hammer all day.
You had a professional actress instead of some professional slut.
Although that's probably an insult to the child. Anyway, whatever Gene is coming up with is working though, because the more I see of him, the more I like him as an actor, because he makes unique choices, and it always adds a little more dimension and nuance to his characters.
Miss Post, perhaps you think me a rustic fool. I assure you I'm not. I can quote great literature. Here's one of my favorites from Lewis Carroll. The king's argument was that anything that had a head could be beheaded. I'm partial to comedy.
You might recognize him as one of the beer-bellied vigilantes in Halloween 4 and Warden Clements in Lost Highway. Brownrigg followed up Don't Open the Door with the Southern Gothic psychodrama Keep My Grave Open in 1977. Brownrigg was one of those horror filmmakers whose directing career didn't last beyond the 1970s. He made one film in the 1980s, Thinkin' Big, a teen spring break sex comedy, but I'm just disappointed he didn't cast Gene Ross as anyone's mean dad. Ultimately, the market for independently made genre films shifted from drive-ins and grindhouse theaters in the 70s to the home video market in the 1980s. Brownrigg in the 90s said he wanted to make more films, but felt hampered by changes to distribution and what he perceived as diminishing returns as a result of those changes. He wanted to make a sequel to the great horror cult classic Freaks, but the project never got past the planning stages. Instead, Brownrigg spent the remainder of his career working on various hunting and fishing programs, and serving as the president of Century Studios, a Dallas production facility. Brownrigg died in Dallas just a week or so shy of his 59th birthday in 1996. Join me next time to show some more love for another pair of regional Texas filmmakers, although this time we're heading from East Texas to the swamps of Cajun country. Break out your cutoffs and get the crawfish boil going. I'm talking about drive-in queen Claudia Jennings' most iconic role in Gator Bait. And join me on Patreon for every cult movie fan's favorite romantic comedy, Harold and Maude. But until then, pleasant nightmares.